Nityanandam Paramasubhadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganashadasham Tattvamasya Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Dam Namami. Nityanandam. Hi, this is Manitya Ovyananda. Thanks for joining me again today. I wanted to expand some more about global peace begins from you. We've been talking about the Living Enlightenment Book now for several days, being that it's the month of March and the anniversary of this amazing book, this living, breathing, divine intelligence, independent intelligence, living in this book. So we've been talking about global peace begins from you, and we've already spoken about how your thought currents affect who you are and how you react, and that ripple effect that happens when you're living peacefully and understanding yourself and your thought currents versus maybe just reacting only out of emotion, and how reactions, negative reactions to other people can cause a ripple effect of negativity versus the other way, where if you're having a positive reaction to people and radiating that positive energy, especially if you're a disciple of His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda, and if you've been initiated by His Holiness Paramahamsa Nityananda, that energy is alive in you. So when you do go out into the world, you're radiating that energy to yourself and others around you. So, Swamiji here, we can go back now into the idea of the collective consciousness. What does that mean, collective consciousness? Not only are we all connected to each other socially, the great truth is that we are all part of the whole, the collective consciousness. You may have heard this before, but let's get into it here. We are not individual islands. Our thoughts, our emotions, and our feelings not only affect us, but they affect the rest of the world also. We are all waves in the ocean of existence. Existence itself is pure, intelligent energy. This loving existence desires that each of us succeed and experience fulfillment in life. When we realize this, we can simply let go of our fears, desires, jealousies, pains, and depression, and relax into the loving arms of existence. If we realize this great truth, we will see how each of us is a unique and irreplaceable part of the grand orchestra of the universe, of existence. So that's one thing, where oftentimes we think we are just an island and that we're separate from other people. But what that does is that closes us off to life and puts a resistance, a wall up, so that when things happen in our life, the way we view it, the way we react to it, is typically in a negative way. Because again, that goes back to our thought currents and how we view life and ourselves. But if we open up, as we open up to existence and life, going with the flow, people would say. But this really has a deeper meaning, going with the flow of life. So no matter what happens, getting into the space of the intelligence of what to do next inside, and not being in the space of worrying or fear, but to act spontaneously by getting into that great cosmic existence and letting the existence in the cosmos do the work for you, show you the way, and give to you. So once we open up, we'll see how that works more in our life. And Swamiji says here, instead of looking at each other as enemies, if you start looking in, you will realize that the enemy within is causing all the trouble. As such, there is no enmity with others. The other is just a blissful part of existence like you. We think negatively because we are all unaware. Our thoughts affect the people around us and also the whole world. Harsh words, angry feelings, suppressed emotions, and suffering all directly contribute to the creation of unrest in the world. Individual stress, hatred, and violence cause an increase in the collective stress, hatred, and violence in society. This leads to a decrease in human awareness, resulting in more acts of violence against nature. We need to break this cycle, otherwise it will cause more calamities, both natural and man-made, because the wheel of nature cannot sustain any more violence. So global peace as such has no meaning. It is the peace and bliss inside the individual that will directly result in global peace. The individual's inner satisfaction, increase in awareness, creativity, intelligence, and will automatically lead to global peace, prosperity, and harmony. I want you to try a little experiment, just a little experiment in awareness. If you can maybe somehow write it down or carry it with you just to see what happens, okay? Let's say you get in a fight with your boss, okay, hypothetically, or anybody, right? And you get into such a kind of a bad mood, kind of irritable, kind of angry. You could have even been in a good mood, but suddenly something about that turned you into a bad mood. Now pay close attention as you're in this mood, and you go around the office, or you go around your house, or you go walking on the street. Pay attention to that angry mood or that depressed mood or whatever it is. Pay attention to that negative mood, that emotion you're feeling. And see how the reaction is around you. How does it look? How does the sky look? How does the trees look? How do the people around you look? How are they sounding? How are they speaking to you and reacting to you? Okay? Try that and just have awareness and see how that works. Now on the flip side, see how things are when you're in a good mood. Let's say you go to lunch with one of your colleagues and you have just the best conversation and you're laughing and maybe you had some issue and you talked it out with that person and you really feel like you had some completion or you're feeling better, and then maybe you got a free lunch. Some reason the place gave you a free lunch, it's your birthday, someone gave you a gift, whatever it is, you're feeling great. You got a promotion and you're just happily kind of practically whistling and you're going down the street, or you're getting home to your spouse. What kind of a great mood you're in. That mood you will see be reflected in others. You will see how, even if they're kind of in a so-so mood and they see your mood, you'll see how that affects them and changes them if you allow it. If you allow that space, if you allow yourself and you hold that space within you, you'll see how things are reflected around you. Even if it's, let's say, a gloomy day, like cloudy and rainy or something, and you're in this mood, you will find beauty around you. You will see how when the sun comes out from the cloud, it's reflecting on the droplets of water like diamonds, or there's a bird singing, or the clean smell of the air, or something you'll notice. You'll notice that, and you'll notice in other people how they'll look at you and smile. And you're like, hey, people are smiling at me, I've done this experiment before, and I know it works, especially before I came to the ashram. And I used to work in downtown Chicago, and there's tons of people around of various types and shapes and sizes and moods and people, they're all there. And I notice how my mood is reflected in the faces of others. People in life is nothing but a mirror reflecting your inner space. It's a total science. And surely you've heard some of this, before. Or I know you've heard of this positive thinking thing. But that thing doesn't last because, again, those things need to come from within you. And once you understand how your inner space reflects and affects what happens around you and the outside of you, that is going to directly show you what you need to fix or what you can improve on, what you can heal. And you can do that experiment. It's very fun. You try it and tell me how it is. So, the big question, Swamiji puts, how to handle the suffering in the world. First, we have to understand that every major decision taken at the higher level of power and governance is an expression of collective positivity or collective negativity. Because it is the mass consciousness or collective consciousness that creates the leaders. So before blaming others like leaders, politicians, or officials, if we can put a little bit of energy towards ourselves and start working to create more positive consciousness in our inner space, we will be doing something really useful. This is something we can do at the base level in our own life, and what we can share with others that we know around us, the same thing. We will see this change. I was often thinking, how did Donald Trump become president of the United States? And I'm sure we can have a big conversation about this. But think about it. He's a business guy, right? He's a business guy, essentially. And what is, the United States, it has evolved to be, obviously, a materialistic society, a democratic society. But people want products. They want entertainment. And they want many things. And they want money and wealth. So, generally, that is the general collective consciousness of the United States. I'm not saying everybody's that way, But I'm saying, if you can say the majority want that, or they're led to believe through media and advertisement that they do need to have those things to be happy. They do need those luxuries to be happy. And without them, life may be empty or whatever, and they want to keep up with the neighbor, what they have, the cars, whatever. They can't get a woman unless they have a nice car. All of those kinds of things. It's in the collective consciousness of the United States in general, as a majority. And as a majority, you have to have certain things, or it's weird, like you need to have a house and a family and all those things. The typical, stereotypical American, with the nice house or the condo or the 2 kids and the husband or wife, this kind of thing. It's your typical kind of societal conditioning that says these are the things you need to have. And now look at our president, total businessman, billionaire, all of those things. So it's come to this. It's evolved to this level where you can see that reflection of the collective consciousness, the majority, reflected in the president. I mean, just an observation I'm making. So this has some ring of truth in it. Start to look and see how that is in effect, how that's working. And even you can say, why are there ghettos or gangs or areas like that? There's areas in Chicago that you wouldn't even want to step foot in. Even in the day, you might not want to, because it's scary. There's gangs and guns and violence, and it's not safe to walk around because you don't know. And maybe it's garbage around and dirty, and the houses are dilapidated, and there's a poverty there. But if you think about it from the standpoint of being raised, let's say, in that environment, and only knowing those things in that environment, and cognizing that this is life and this is what it is, all those people in that area, they're kind of perpetuating that kind of community, okay? I mean, it's a community. Now, you start to get somebody who wakes up. They have a love for the people in their community. They have a love and a care for wanting something positive to happen for the kids there, because it is a community after all, and there's many people living there, families, and for whatever reason they're there in that place. But somebody comes up and they rise up and they want to help. They want to open up a community center. They want to reach out to people and start helping them. You'll see things start to shift. You'll see, sometimes it just takes one person. Sometimes it just takes one person to make that positive shift. That collective consciousness then will begin to change around. You'll see people, saying, man, I was afraid to do anything. But now there's some people, they're getting together and they're cleaning up this place. Or they're, fixing some of these houses if people can't afford it. And you'll see that ripple effect happen in that community. And a place for people to go and gather and speak to each other and get together, on different levels with their families. You'll see that start to give life. And then they can start to, understand why are kids getting involved in gangs, and start to give them some care, right? Because it's all about the collectivity of the area, you're living. And it just takes one person to make that change and to help. So these are my insights on that. I just wanted to share it. So we'll hear more later. I'm going to share this chapter for a while because I think it's very beautiful. And I think something very important to many of us. We want to see positive change in the world. We want to see things a better place. Because ultimately, no matter what we do or think, whether we're materialistic people or we're money-hungry people or we're maybe depressed people or we like to party or we, like to, if we even like violence, maybe there's some reason for all of this. And there is a small part of people, even those kind of people, who do want peace in their life. They do want to see positive change in life. But that'll have to start with us as individuals and joining together then as individuals and bringing that into the community. And essentially, as we are living in Hinduism, in the Vedic tradition, it goes much deeper than just that. It goes deeper to the level of the being, of understanding that we are connected to the great source, the universe, Sadashiva, cosmos, and that we are more than we know. We do have special energies lying within us that we can use and help others with. We can do healing on people. We have healing here all the time at this Abhinam. where people come and we can scan them with the third eye, let them know what's going on with them, and they can begin to change and understand where their thought currents are. Maybe they have a blind spot, we can point it out. And then they're like, yeah, I've been doing that all my life. And then now they can start to change. And we can do actual spiritual healing because we've been initiated by Swamiji. And many people, after a few sessions, they'll see their pain lifting. They'll see healing happening. So it is real, and it is happening in the earth itself now. So there's many other avenues we can explore to raise ourselves as human beings to the next level. Thanks again for watching. Nityananda.